Welcome to another episode of the Quip Corner's Book Corner. My guest today, well, if you didn't already know, you'll find out what our relationship is like. But you'll see her bio right after this. Please join us in the Quip Corner's Book Corner. Welcome back to the Quip Corner's Book Corner, Chinyere.
Thanks, Ada, for having me. I promised I'll be back, and I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while though.
I agree, but I've been busy, productively busy.
Okay. Tell us more. Tell us more.
Well, it's been fun working, but also writing books.
Okay.
So here I am.
So tell us about
The book.
Mm-hmm.
So I recently published my 9th book. The Future Focused Female Leader.
Nice.
My 9th book. Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
So it's been a long time coming, but I'm glad I finally finished it because I think it's a book that every female leader needs to read.
Only female leaders?
Well, largely I wrote it from my perspective, as a leader, kind of over the years growing up and maturing into the role. While other males can read the book and find it useful, but I've kind of focused more on the feminine side of things in putting this book together.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. So you talk about maturing into the role, and I'm sure in maturing into the role, there were and will continue to be ups and downs. So
True, Ada. True, absolutely true. And for me, growing up in my early days, I didn't quite see or have female role models in leadership position. There were things I would have loved to speak to a female about, but there just weren't too many of them at that time. So I grappled with a lot of things. I made my mistakes. There were times when, in hindsight, there are things I shouldn't have done, which I did. So I made those mistakes and I matured through them. So this is my way of providing, maybe not a rule book, but almost a rule book for young female leaders to gain the experience, my experiences, and the experience of some other female leaders I've interacted with as I developed.
So I like, you're saying it's not a rule book. It sounds to me, I mean, because I had the privilege of reading it, it sounds to me that it's more like a guidebook.
It is a guidebook, and so it contains key attributes because I believe that for a leader to be strong and successful, there are some attributes that you need to demonstrate over time, consistently over time, to be able to say, look, I am a leader. So this book just showcases several of those attributes, and in each of those chapters, I had looked at my experience, but also the experiences of others, what others have written or what they have passed through to be able to put each chapter together. So it's really like a cluster of attributes that female leaders would need to hone in life and in leadership, really.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I mean, it almost sounds like, which was why I asked the question about, is it just for females? Because I'm sure there are fathers out there who want to raise daughters who will be leaders. So is this a book a father can read to help his daughter? or daughters?
Absolutely. I mean, I hadn't thought about it from that perspective, but I think it's an absolutely um, accurate, perspective that a father may want to guide his daughters. But if I think about it even more broadly, um, bosses, supervisors at work could say, look, I need to help or support or promote the gender agenda. And so this is a book that they can actually provide to their female workers, female, employees to help them and to groom them. So yes, it's really available for everybody, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm glad you agree with me because, I know a lot of things. So, but, to your point about leaders in the office, supporting the gender agenda, what were some of your challenges as you matured into the role of leadership?
So for me, and that's really, I'm an introvert, so I will, not be one to put myself out there. So at several points, I lacked courage. I was very timid, so I didn't have the courage to do a lot of the things I needed to do, or a lot of the things that my mates would do at the time. And that also dovetailed into the fact of being almost invisible. So it didn't matter how much work I did or could do, it didn't matter how intelligent I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was, kind of willing to hide it all, willing to hide
Yeah.
under the table if I needed to, just to not, attract any attention. So these are some of the things that inhibited my growth at some point until I realized that, oh, look, these are challenges that I needed to deal with.
Mm, mm. Yeah. And I remember you mentioned some of these things in the book. Yeah. So,
Absolutely. And I mean, if I just the list of things in the book, the list
mm-hmm.
of attributes, key attributes. So there are 12 of them,
Okay.
about 30. So one is to be a lifelong learner because I believe that every leader needs to learn and continue to learn. You never
Yeah.
really stop learning because if you do stop learning, the world continues to move and so you're not at pace with the world. But
Yes.
also be a reader. So
Mm-hmm.
explore what is best for you to read at any point in time. Be adaptable. And that reminds me of your name or the way you pronounce your name, adaptable. So be adaptable. Because the world is constantly changing, and so a female leader needs to know position herself depending on what's going on around her, and be authentic. A lot of times, females kind of put on they wear masks.
Yeah.
There's almost this pretentious way of carrying oneself, but
Yeah.
there's so much value in being authentic, being your real self, and then be courageous, be disciplined because self-discipline is critical, be ethical, be humble, be self-aware, be visible, be visionary, be well-groomed, and be tenacious. So those are 13 key attributes that I have covered in this book. And any leader who takes these things seriously will kind of elevate themselves and their performance.
Mm-hmm.
And the book is appropriate for leaders at various points. So you may be a young leader and you're needing to learn these things and say, oh, being courageous is important and this is how I can go about it. But you may also be a more advanced leader and you're saying to yourself, I'm more conscious on how to strengthen some of these attributes. So it's important for any age or wherever you are as a leader. Yeah, and a lot of the things I have put here, I've put them in ways that, apart from telling that this is important to do, it's also how do you go about doing it? So how do you become more courageous? What are the
Yeah.
actions you need to take?
Yeah.
What should your mindset be like,
Mm-hmm.
and those kind of things. So these are the things I've covered in the book, and it's an excellent book.
Yeah. It's an excellent book, even if you say so yourself. I
Even if I
agree.
say so myself, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, even just listening to those attributes, I still keep circling the wagons about the fact that none of us can do life alone. And so it's one thing for a female leader to read this book, but it would be nice, if the people around her also read it to know how to elevate her. For instance, for someone who doesn't know how to be visible, having a boss, I remember when I had a team that was reporting to me, and the national culture of that team was male and female, everybody was hiding, just like you had said. And I remember insisting on making them visible, and that definitely helped them take their career to the next level, So definitely, even bosses can say, oh yeah, I'm past this stage, but how can I help? How can I pay it forward? Or how can I help those in my circle, to be better leaders or to even become leaders in the first instance? Nice, nice.
True,
Hmm.
true.
So, how can people get copies of your book?
Well, the book is on Amazon. So I hope you put the link. So the book's on Amazon. The book is also on Roving Heights for those who are in Nigeria. It's on Roving Heights Bookstore. It's on Burns and Noble. And of course, if you want autographed copies, you can send an email to almonabookcafe@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And particularly for those in Nigeria, will deliver to you.
Okay. Of course, shipping needs to be included in that, but that's a different conversation. We'll put that information below so that people know how to get copies of your book. Some people may be like, okay, is your book something I can use for leadership training? And this is just a question that just popped in my head. Somebody could say, okay, I will read the book, and then what? I like how you said that in the book, you also share how to develop or deepen or demonstrate these attributes. So is that something you're open to? Say somebody buys their book for their emerging female leaders and says, Chinyere, I would like you to come talk to the ladies and maybe, share some of these attributes. Is that something you're open to by any chance?
Oh yes, I'm completely, thrilled to be called upon for such conversations. I've had a few. Since March, this book was published in March. We've had the International Women's Day. I've had cause to speak to groups of women. Um, since the book came out, I've also reached out to some corporations to say, you know what, you can buy for your women network. A lot of organizations have women network. You can buy for your women network, and I'm happy to come speak to them about the attributes in this book, and guide them through, because it is a book that today we're discussing gender diversity and its importance. And we need to not just say it is great to have to pay attention to gender diversity, but we need to like enable the women, enable the females to rise. If you don't give them the opportunity and give them the tools that they need to rise,
Yeah.
then you'll be setting them up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of that when people speak up and talk about gender diversity and there's no substance underneath it. It's important to train, to guide, to mentor these ladies as they rise in their career so that they don't make mistakes that I made. Or, but even for you, Ada, if you think about it, as there are some mistakes that you made that you wouldn't want if, today's leaders to make those mistakes. So the future focused female leader is really for that woman that wants to kind of move to the next level, or for those who want women around them to move to the next level. And so, yes, it is a training material, absolutely, because I think every woman should have it by their bedside, and you can take one attribute at a time and, check where you are, measure how far you are going and, check your progress on each and every attribute in this book.
Thank you. Thank you. I was about to thank you for being here, but well, why don't you read something from your book to us before I let you go?
Yes, thank you, Ada. I think it's important to read a poem at the beginning of the book, the epigraph, and it's a poem I think that every female should kind of say it's like a mantra. It says, the future-focused female leader, she is a force to be reckoned with, a blessing and source of good to many. Armed with skills, will, and vast abilities, she secures her license to affect current and future generations. She is mindful of her integrity, influence, and impact. Known for her character, competence, and confidence, she made it to the top because she dared to climb. While making decisions in the present, her eyes are focused on the future. She's a phenomenal future-focused female leader.
Nice. You're not just an author, you're even a poet while you're at it.
Right.
Good job. Good job. Well, thank you again for joining me in the Quip Corners Book Corner. And I look forward to having you here again as a guest.
Yeah, I look forward to coming back as quickly as possible because my 10th book has also been just published. So I look forward to coming to talk about that one.
Well done. Well done. Thank you. God bless you.
Bye now.
Bye. Welcome back. Eh? Was it obvious? Here and I have been friends for a couple decades now. And I'm so proud of, all that God has helped her accomplish. This book, like I said during the interview, is a book for everybody. You're a female leader, you're a mentor, you're a mother, a grandmother, a father, a leader in the office. Lots for you to learn and leverage from this. So, of course, the ways to get a copy are below. So please grab a copy or more and thank me later. Bye now. God.